Hi and welcome to this tutorial on how to write a theme and variations. We're writing a theme and variations for violin and piano in G major. We've written the theme, we've written the first variation, we're on the second variation now, and we've written the first 4 bars of this so far. So what we're going to do in the next 4 bars is, what I've done is I've copied the original theme for the remainder of this variation, so that we can be guided by following the form of the theme. So here we just go back to, in this next bar we're going back to what we originally had in the first bar. So this is basically a 4-bar question and a 4-bar answer, which modulates the dominant. So we're just going to copy the first bar into this bar. Because the first bar of this piece would have had pretty much the same as this bar here in the original theme, so we're just going to copy this over to this bar here. Let's try that again. Okay, now we need to modulate now. So in the original theme we were already on the dominant 7th of D major here. So we need to work out how to do that. The underlying kind of pattern for this variation is this kind of scale motion. So we could do that again in the violin. Originally, in the first 4-bar question, we had 2 bars of scales on the piano, and then the 3rd bar, the violin took the scale, and then the 4th bar. Here, because we're going to modulate, we could have the scale coming into the 2nd bar here, so we could have an answer. And because we're changing to the dominant, we could change this pattern. Instead of ascending, we could have it descending, just to have a little bit more interest. Just thinking maybe we should keep the 2-scale pattern, 2-bar scale pattern in the piano. So we'll have the scale on the piano. And put a C sharp in because we're now modulating. Now, in order to modulate, we could it's more effective if we have a first inversion here. That's first inversion of D major now. And just to keep this rhythmic pattern in the bass, we'll have a chord there, 2 rests, and then another chord. So we could just add a little turn here as well, just to make it sound a bit nicer. Now in the violin we could have we didn't have anything in the first phrase, the 2nd bar of the first phrase. So in the 2nd bar of the 2nd phrase we could potentially not have anything there, but just to make it a bit more interesting for the violin, we could have a bit of movement. So we could have an A, another A, maybe. An A is always a good bet here. And then we can just follow this little turn here, just in 6ths. Okay, I think that's okay. And now in the 3rd bar of the original phrase we had the scale in the violin, so we'll have the scale in the violin now. So you can see from the original theme I'm not copying it note for note, chord for chord, but the essential thing is to be on the 2B here. So the chord of E minor, first inversion. So let's just Okay, so I'm just copying in the piano this octave leap. I'm just copying it from the octave leap in the violin in the bar before. We'll just have the same rhythmic pattern in the left hand as we had in the bar before, and we just need to do we could just have two parts here, so let's just okay, so I just noticed that we've got this A, G, A going on there, and we can just have a little reference to it there, speed it up. Just little things really. Okay, so I think that's probably about right. Let's just hold that like we held the A in the bar before in the violin, and I think that's pretty much done. So and we'll just copy that into the next into the repeat. Hold on. Just get rid of those two rests. Great. So in terms of the next, what we're going to do next is so we're on dominant seventh of A minor there. We could have and the underlying sort of pattern for this variation is scales. We could have more scales. We could have them because this is kind of like a quaver sort of motion. We could have them in quavers, or maybe we could elongate them to crotchets. And have quite a sort of bold, striking kind of scales on E major chord with Fs and stuff. So please do subscribe to the channel, and please join me next time and check out the other videos that I'm doing on the variations as well, and hope to join you next time. See you soon. Great, and just before I go, let's have a listen to it, to what we've written. So here goes. That sounds okay, apart from the mistake. Great. Okay, so join you next time. Bye.